can't remember his name or the series name, but
good
stuff, good stuff. Glad about that. How about this Diet Coke drinkers out there? The World Health Organization officially declaring the artificial sweetener aspartame a carcinogenic hazard.
Yeah, for more on this, let's welcome an internist at Custom Care Medical, Dr. Frank Contacessa. Dr. Frank, thanks for joining us. All right, so there's these new reports coming out of the World Health Organization. What does this mean? And should people who drink Diet Coke, like Mark Halpern, be concerned?
Stop drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, Rob and Allison. Yeah, so what happened here, so the World Health Organization, which I don't always take full stock in everything that they say, but I can go along with some of these recommendations. So they have a watchdog organization called the International Agency for the Research of Cancer, and they've classified aspartame, which is NutraSweet. It's the blue packet. It's equal. It's the blue packet at the cafe, as a possible carcinogen. They have 4 categories. They have likely causes cancer, may cause cancer, possibly causes cancer, or doesn't. This is the second from the bottom. It's possible. I think my message on this really has to be that it's dose dependent. You know, if you have an occasional Diet Coke here and there, I don't think it's a problem. But if you're having 2 or 3 Diet Cokes a day, if you're consuming large quantities of aspartame containing products, then I think you should reduce your intake of these things.
So, you know, I read the list of all the foods that this affects, and part of me says, well, if it hasn't gotten me yet, maybe I'm okay.
It's in a lot, though.
Yeah, look at, all right, so here we go. Second one down, sugar-free gum, all right? When I was a little kid, I'd take the whole thing of Big League Chew and put it in my mouth. The entire packet of Big League Chew, which is gum, Allison.
Right, but it's not sugar-free.
I was a major
so you probably
competitive,
had a lot of cavities.
I was a major competitive athlete, yes, as you can tell. It's got a lot of aspartame in it. I don't know what, I mean, do I need to be worried about that from 40 years ago?
Rob, I'd say probably not. And again, I think we're aiming here at the really high users of this stuff. You know, it's in thousands of products, even in things like toothpaste. You know, so it's really everywhere. Oh. But I think, you know, if you're dumping 3-4 packets of this stuff into your coffee every day, if you're having 3 or 4 Diet Cokes a day, I think you really should reduce your intake of these things. Should you worry about what you did 40 years ago? Well, you can't do anything about it anyway. But I think as we go forward, we really should try to reduce our intake.
Allison's going to ask you about the fountain of youth in just a moment, but I just have, this is why some people don't trust the WHO. So the World Health Organization puts out this report, and they list this as possibly carcinogenic.
Yeah.
They say they can't confirm that, and I think this is why people have issues with the CDC and the WHO. It's because so they're saying it might be, yet they still push a report like this out there. What do you make of that?
So, you know, it's so hard to prove causality in these types of things. You know, you can have something like smoking where it's very clear that it causes something like lung cancer. To look at studies like this, because you can look at, there's hundreds of studies on aspartame. Some of them are funded by the food industry, and they all show that aspartame is completely safe. And then you can have other studies that show, well, maybe there was a link with people who had high levels of intake of this stuff and certain types of cancers. In this case, it was liver cancer and stomach cancer. But it's very difficult to prove causality. So to come out and say, yes, this definitely causes cancer is very difficult. So I can understand why they sort of hem and haw and say, well, it may cause.
Right.
And again, I think common sense on this has to rule and say, eat clean, reduce chemical intake from your diet, try to eat as clean and healthy as you can, and that's really the best that we can do.
Yes, just read the ingredients on all of that stuff. All right, I want to move on to a study that's coming out of Harvard claiming researchers, they found age reversal chemicals. I want to know all about this.
So, you know, we hear about this kind of stuff all the time. There are fad diets, there are fad drugs. You know, I take this with a grain of salt. So we always have to be very careful when we talk about this is the next big thing. You know, I always preach lifestyle. It's diet, it's exercise. Anytime there's a new supplement, I remember a few years ago it was resveratrol, which was the red wine chemical that said, oh, you know, resveratrol is the fountain of youth that reverses aging. You know, and that didn't really pan out. So I would take this all with a grain of salt. I preach eat healthy, exercise, take as good a care of yourself as you possibly can. There really isn't a fountain of youth that I know about yet.
Yeah, but humor us for a minute. So what are they saying we need to do?
Drink red wine? No.
Well,
is it like have blueberries? Like what do we need? Like it's supposed to be like a bunch of things that like are increase vision, and it's working in mice. I know that. And mice
Yeah,
are,
so
they're kooky.
it was a combination of things. It was antioxidants. With antioxidants, we try to prevent oxidative damage to our DNA. And some of these things over time, may pan out. But I think we have to take it real slow with this stuff, and common sense has to rule the day. If it seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Just eat healthy and exercise and drink water.
That's it. Moderation
Yes.
and excess.
And maybe a glass
And a
of
little
wine.
bit of red wine is okay.
That's right.
That's right, Dr. Frank. That's right. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you both.
All right, lots more coming up this morning.